The news from South Carolina is spreading, but no matter what city it's broadcast in, the story is always the same. Black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism that happens all the time, everywhere. That explains everything. And the cop who shot the guy in the back as he was running away, that's just the latest example. Hi, this is Colin Flaherty, author of Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Here we talk about the greatest lie of our generation, the hoax of black victimization. And here we have another case of it. So everybody's talking about South Carolina, but ignoring everything that's happening in the rest of the country. So why don't we take a look at some black mob violence, some black on white crime all over the country, and we'll kind of put this new story from South Carolina in context.
So the message to Kensington and all the other neighborhoods in Jefferson Parish: wake up!
Sheriff Newell Norman gets fired up as he defends his deputies' actions after they shot a drug suspect, and he calls on citizens to take action.
Good evening, I'm Kim Holdren.
And I'm John Snell. The sheriff's heated words come as he also showed off the guns he says Desmond Willis used to shoot at his deputies.
Natasha Robin is live in Harvey with more.
Sheriff Newell Norman was fired up and didn't hold back as he talked about an Algiers man shot by deputies earlier this week. At times, the sheriff was screaming, even gripping the podium.
Not to be insensitive, but I'll be damned if this office is going to stand by and have its reputation impugned by people when this video's out there, trying to pollute the minds of our youngsters in our community day in and day out with this crap.
25-year-old Desmond Willis was killed during a shootout with police on Manhattan Boulevard in Harvey on Monday. The shooting happened as deputies tried to arrest Willis following a traffic stop when deputies smelled marijuana. Sheriff Norman began today's presser by playing a series of videos on social media showing Willis rapping about shooting at the cops, dealing and smoking marijuana, and living a gangster lifestyle. Norman says he wanted to release the videos to discredit what Willis's family told the media about Willis being a good guy. He says the videos speak for itself. Norman says the scene that unfolded on Manhattan Boulevard is the exact scene Willis described in the videos.
Over 65 rounds fired that day. Absolute miracle that no one got hurt. In fact, one of the witnesses said as she watched the thing go down on the street between the hotel and the office building, she turned her head because she did not want to see a cop get killed. So the message to Kensington and all the other neighborhoods in Jefferson Parish: wake up! If you know what's going on in your neighborhoods, call the sheriff's office and let us know. Because your life is not going to matter.
Norman also displayed guns, bullets, and drugs on a table at the presser. He says they found those items in Willis's truck after the shootout. He also showed us the 9mm gun with a laser sight on it that he says Willis used to shoot at his deputies. He says he wanted to point out this is what his deputies are facing on the streets of Jefferson Parish every day, and he says it's time for the community to wake up and not tolerate it anymore.
Look at Monster, man. Man. Hey, man. Watch out, man. Watch out. Oh, they getting it in over there. Oh, they getting busy. Watch out, huh? Watch out. Oh, they getting it in. Oh. Watch out. Hold on, stop, Chuck. They ragging him, bro. Oh, check rim tip out. Rim tip punch. Rim tip punch hard as hell. Rim tip, bro.
Chill out.
Man, she going hard, bro. Oh!
Get all them in his body.
Smack that. Somebody smack that. They ran. Let me get right here, Rumjo. Yeah. Look at Doc, man. Doc. Look at Doc.
So the last story was from Trenton, so is this one. But let me ask you a question. When is the last time you heard of 4 cops getting hurt on a call to break up a large episode of black mob violence? Here's another question. Do you think the rules have changed for how cops are allowed to defend themselves? And do you think black people know that now? Do you think they know the cops are now more reluctant to defend themselves? Oh yes, that's the answer to those questions.
It is the 10 seconds an 82-year-old Oakland woman will never forget. You can see Brian's neighbor standing at the back of her SUV when a dark 4-door car pulls up across the street. 2 people get out and head straight to the victim.
They come up behind her and attack her, and then they steal her purse.
The victim runs toward the suspect's car and tries to grab her purse. Instead, she's dragged a few feet before she falls. Look closely, and you can see her daughter is in the car with her baby, with no idea what just happened feet away.
Lord, the spirit that is over the Cincinnati area of murder, Father, we ask that you would arrest it right now in the name of Jesus.
A prayer service was held today at the Metropolitan CME Church in Walnut Hills in honor of Kelsey Crow. Crow died during a shooting on Saturday after a birthday party. After the prayer service, the teens in attendance were offered support from local community members, including clergy, police, and violence prevention teams.
We were not meant to get gunned down.
That's right.
We weren't meant to have our little brothers and sisters grow up in fear. They can't even walk to school without dodging little areas where people are carrying guns that make them think that they need to carry a gun. And then the cycle goes and it continues to grow.
According to police, a couple hundred teens were at the party when a fight broke out around midnight, which resulted in somewhere around 60 shots being fired.
Get involved.
This is your turn.
This is your turn. If this is what it brought about, then take advantage of it. For her and for the other 2 that are fighting for their lives. Don't let this be for nothing. If you're going to get angry enough to do something positive about it.
That's the video account from the local newspaper story of what happened just a few days ago. But here's what really happened. There was a Sweet 16 party at a local YMCA. A bunch of black people tried to crash the party. Hundreds. Cops broke it up. As soon as the cop left, they came back. Party broke up. Huge amount of gunfire, 50, 60 bullets fired. White girl trying to get away dies, gets shot in her car. All this happened inside of a Cincinnati neighborhood known for being redeveloped, known for being diverse, known for gentrifying, known for places where white people think they can just walk into a black neighborhood without fear, without resentment, without hostility. And now we look at this video and we see some of the people who are, responsible for this violence. They're not the predators. They're somehow turned into the victims. And did you hear anything about the girl who died? The real victim? Not a dang thing. Here's a story out of Houston. A bunch of black people and rob a smoke shop, kill the owner. Here are some videos. This was in the paper just a couple days ago. It's a story of a guy who was sentenced to 8 years for a tire iron assault. Here's the real story. The guy was playing the knockout game. He took a tire iron, walked up to a guy he didn't know, never saw before, and started beating the hell out of him with the tire iron. Remember what the knockout game is. If somebody's beating the hell out of somebody just for the hell of it, that's the knockout game. And that's what this was. You thought it went away?
This video quite disturbing and shocking. Hard to believe, really, that such violence really takes place.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. It is very shocking, and I spoke with students who go to school with the victim today, and they tell me they are outraged. Her friends who saw it happen say they still can't believe they witnessed such violence so close to home.
Who you think you are?
It's violence like most have never seen before. An 18-year-old man picking up a 15-year-old girl and throwing her to the ground. When police arrived, they found the teen girl unconscious on the ground. She was taken to hospital after regaining consciousness. She told friends she had a concussion and some back pain today. 18-year-old Joshua Gordon is facing charges.
Henry, let me start with you. How are students, particularly students of color, feeling on campus right now?
You know, I think students are feeling exhausted. I think the thing that sometimes people forget is that these huge events like a noose being hung from a tree are not things that happen every day, but the kind of microaggressions, the things that happen every day, for instance, my intellectual legitimacy being called into question, those kinds of things happen on a daily basis. My intellectual legitimacy being called into question, 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 my intellectual legitimacy being called into question.
I don't want anyone to question my intellectual legitimacy. So, for all the trolls out there that say I do nothing but ignore all these episodes of white mob violence all the time, this one's for you. Here's an episode at first. Looks like another episode of black mob violence on a gas station. They flash rob. But if you look closely, you will actually see
one of them was buying a tobacco product, so my guy
person or two in there who is not
the store
black.
Employee who didn't want to be identified says
the
guys were trying to distract the clerk.
Trying to keep him so busy so he cannot run his eyes, so other people can start grabbing the stuff from the back.
Watch as this guy in the black shirt takes a beer.
He grabbed 140.
In the video, you see him grab another.
And he just walked out. So he's just gonna walk out. See?
Moments later, another guy helps himself to a beer.
Same thing, see?
Then this one. Watch the guy in the pink shirt.
I'm glad that they didn't came behind the counter. There were so many of them.
An aisle over, the employee says others are grabbing food items.
See, he's taking the candies in the back. See? The guy in the red shirt.
It's been a couple of minutes and now the clerk is calling 911.
They start running now because he picked up the phone.
The clerk locks the last two people inside the store. This girl holds her hands above her head. We're told she actually paid for her cup of ice.
But they say we didn't take anything, so he let them go.
The two were the last ones to leave. You see the girl get in her car.
This is one group.
And they all take off in one big caravan, car after car.
If you don't want anyone questioning your intellectual legitimacy, you'd better pick up Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. It's actually rated the #1 book in America for ensuring no one will question your intellectual legitimacy. This is Colin Flaherty. I will talk to you next time.